Guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Excel Man. My name is Alex, and today we're going to go through keyboard shortcuts. And I think keyboard shortcuts are an excellent tool, and I think anybody familiarizing with themselves with Excel should get familiarized with keyboard shortcuts. And if you've seen anybody that is pretty advanced or very knowledgeable, they tend to use the keyboard, and very rarely would they touch the mouse. So today's video is going to be catered to teach you how to change something like this into something like this with just nothing but keyboard shortcuts. So this is how it's done. So to get to that table that we want and that chart that we want, first thing we're going to do is to get familiarize ourselves with the most basic keyboard shortcut, which is to capture all your data. Now, it's very useful is if you have a very large data set or you're given a data dump or you're at work and you're given just a bunch of numbers and your boss says do something with it, you need to organize it. Well, the first thing I want you to learn is the Control A, which is capture all. And to do that, you go into your data, click anywhere you want, simply press Control A, captures all of it. Also, on a side note, to get very familiar, which I urge you to do, is repetition with keyboard shortcuts on your ribbon menu. Just press Alt, and then that lists everything you need for home and set whatever. We're going to use some of these in our video today. So let's start with setting up our table. So go back to your data, click anywhere on there, and you want to create a table, Control T. And then that opens up your range that you want to select, and typically it'll select for you. Tap on my table has headers and enter, and you get a simple table. And as you see here, you get a table design tab. Now, this is great if you want to change the coloring or whatever, and we'll do an example of this. Also, if you want to name your table, this is also a great tool to use. We won't use this in this video. We'll do it for another one. If you have multiple tables, typically when you're dealing with a profit and loss or something and you have multiple tables that you need to reference, table name would be great because then you can use that in your formulas. But that's a different video. So we created a table and now we want to adjust this. Now I like to take out the filter button. For me, I think it's too noisy because typically after the table is created, I do filter it in the way that I want and sort it. So the way to do that is to press Alt, JT, and you see where it says B, takes out your filter. So great, useful tool for that. Next thing we want to do is to create a chart. And charts are your best friends in Excel because it's very useful when you're presenting your data. And let's start with that. To create your best chart, you go into your data, tap anywhere on there, press Alt, N, insert, and R for recommended, and opens up your, gives you recommended, but I usually like to, and opens up your, gives you recommended, but I usually like to press the right arrow tab on your keyboard and press, if you're, great note, if you're in your Windows and you want to tap to a section, you want to go to a section, just press tab, and it goes to whatever section you're working on. Let's start with the line one and go to ones that has notes in the center. That's usually the ones I like. Press enter, and it gives you your chart. Now you have a table and a chart. Now in our example, we're doing sales, expenses, and profits. And so say you want to present this to your employees, your partners, your investors, and you want to show how your trend on sales is doing. You can do that in Excel, and there's a keyboard shortcut for that. To do that, we go back to our Alt button, our favorite button in this video, and we're going to go to Chart Design, which is JC. Chart Design, then we're going to go Add Element, and then you see on the bottom where it says Time Trend Line, and that's the T, and we're going to do Linear. Don't worry about the others. We'll get into that in another video. We're going to linear because it is a linear function, a linear graph. And sales, it is a linear representation. So we're going to do sales, and click OK. And as you can see, the trend line is entered. So now we have a trend line. So the next thing we want to do is say you want to formulate, change this, change the colors. There's a keyboard shortcut for that, which is as simple as pressing Control-1. Control-1. Oh, sorry. You have to make sure you're here. So Control-1. There you go. Opens up your format chart area. This will give you, if you want to fill in, any colors, borders, adjust any shadowing, make any formats on your size differences, and so on. So that's, I'll leave that to your discretion. And the next thing we want to talk about is now say you are not comfortable with this and you want to change the chart type. So there's a keyboard shortcut for that. Like always, there's a keyboard shortcut for everything in Excel, and we will get you there. But this one is going to be, you go back to your chart design, JT, Alt JT, and you see where it says C chart type. Tap on that and opens up your chart type. And this example, we're going to change it to a column. And our first example right there, press enter, and it changes our chart type. These are useful tools, and no matter, very rarely would you touch the mouse in this example. I would probably argue not touch the mouse in this example unless you made an error and you need to go back. But great, useful tool. Get familiarized yourself with all the keyboard shortcuts. Use the tap one I mentioned. That gives you access to all of them. Once you familiarize yourself with these, you will become so good at it. I promise you, you will become so much faster. You just want to learn more. So if you really, really like this stuff, please hit that subscribe button. Make a comment if you want to see any keyboard shortcuts that you're interested in. I also create models. If you check out my other videos, I created a calendar model that captures all your tasks. If you're interested in the model and you want to see what it looks like, please comment and I can work on it. We can set it up and give you a video about that. Thank you guys. Hit that subscribe button. Until the next one.